Hello, welcome to the World Cup in Brazil. We're looking forward to having you with us in our home here on Copacabana Beach, Rio de Janeiro. For the opening ceremony and opening game, Lee and I are delighted to have with us two World Cup winners in the shape of Patrick Vieira, a winner in '98, and Fabio Cannavaro, who lifted the trophy for Italy 2 tournaments later in Berlin. So, may the joy commence. 4.5 weeks of sheer, mad, noisy, brilliant football heaven. Splashes of colour everywhere at the Arena de Sao Paulo, where the hosts will open the tournament today. After the opening ceremony, Croatia, the opponents again, not for the first time in a World Cup against Brazil. They can't wait to get going down there, where the sun is shining. Weather not too shabby here, especially when you consider it is midwinter. It's a special time for all of us, Fabio Cannavaro, but when you've won the World Cup, how special must it be when the tournament comes round again?
The first I want to tell you thank you to invite me here with you. I'm very happy to spend the time with you guys. We are in Brazil, we are in Rio, with a good location, and everybody's excited for to start with this World Cup.
Patrick, you played with this man. How good was he? Juventus.
I'm going to feel really sorry for Lee as a defender. Yeah, but honestly, that Fabio is one of the best, if not the best defender I had the chance to play with. He's really clever. He's always anticipating the movement of the striker. He's not the tallest guy, but he's really strong in the air. And he's a winner.
And he's a winner. He's fabulously good looking as well.
I paid the dinner tonight. Thank you.
Let's have a look at you. Let's have a look at you winning the World Cup. Shaven-headed, you look much friendlier now than you did then. I would have crossed the road to avoid you back then. But Fabio, how did this feel, lifting that trophy?
I was very proud because I was the captain of a very good team. We play against French. The game was very tough, but in the end we won the World Cup because we won during the penalty. And I was the captain, and I feel more excited now when I'm watching the video, because that moment for me was, I don't know, maybe normal to lift the trophy.
We've got a copy of the video. We've got a copy you can have, Fabio. We can stretch to that.
It's funny meeting him now because he was always one of my defending heroes growing up, even though I'm older than him. You know, you look at players playing for opposition, and you just go, I want to, because he looked so great in his kit. He looked the best defender I've ever seen because he was quite small, jumped like a, like a kangaroo.
Another dinner.
And I walked straight past him in the hotel because I didn't recognise him with his hair, so I definitely had a bit of work.
No, Ian Wright was telling me when they went to swap shirts once, he had his shirt, his shorts and his socks of Fabio. He revered him.
Well, the Italians always look great in the kit, even better than the French, although they did have some good kits down the year. And it always go in the dressing room after swap the shirt, and if there's anything lying around on the floor, then you take it. They take the lot, put it in your bag, and they didn't want ours, by the way.
You're in danger of being left out here, Patrick. What are your World Cup memories? That fantastic day in '98.
Unbelievable, a dream come true. had the chance to win the World Cup in our own soul. In front of our fans, he was a big communion between the team and the football world in France, because in that period, France was going through a really difficult period. And I think winning the World Cup brings the French people together. And I think we show the diversity in France. That was a good reflect of the national team.
OK, we'll talk more about that later, especially given the build-up, which hasn't been entirely enthusiastic in Brazil. But there is excitement building up today all over this massive country, nowhere more so than down there on Copacabana Beach, where you'll find no one more excited than Ian Wright and his trusty cameraman Lawrence.
We've come to Brazil for the World Cup. And let's face it, we did invent the game. But the Brazilians, they put the spirit in the game. Don't look, Loza. OK, let me see. Let's do the studio. OK, turn around, Loza. Bam, the studio. Look at that lovely building up there, the loft. That's where our studio is. Really cool place. Look at the view. Look at the view it's got. Turn around so we can get some landmarks in. Let's do the landmarks. OK, far corner, Sugarloaf Mountain. It's called Sugarloaf Mountain. Do you know why it's called Sugarloaf Mountain, Loza? No? Because it looks like a sugarloaf, maybe. But anyway, it is known to you and I as the place where James Bond in Moonraker had that massive fight with Jaws on the cable car. OK, if you look down to the right of it, you can see the white building. That's the fan park. That's where thousands of people will be watching it on the big screens. And I've got to just tell you a little bit of a secret here. The hotel with the 4 panels of windows, that's where England were going to stay. It's the Windsor Hotel. But obviously with the fan park there, they're not going to stay there anymore. And now they're free beaches that way. And just on from there, it's the place where music and fashion were always the passion. It is the Copacabana Beach Hotel, where Barry Manilow, my dear friend Barry Manilow, I'd like to add, said is the hottest place in north of Havana. Hang on a minute, talking about hot, let's have a look at this guy. How you doing, man? That's hot. That's hotness. How you doing, man? What's your name?
Stefan.
How you doing, Stefan? Where you from?
Germany.
Germany? Yeah. How about that? Germany, England on the beach together. How you do? Listen, they're saying that Germany could be the first European team to actually win a World Cup on South American soil. Do you think you can do it?
Somebody has to, so players like Schweinsteiger, that's third World Cup for them, they're a good peak of their career, so I guess there's a chance there.
Okay, so you fancy your chances?
Yeah.
Well, I fancy our chances. I'm going to say, yeah, I fancy England's chances. Let's hug so that people can see the Germans and English get on, okay? Take it easy, Steph. Go and do your gorgeous stuff. What you do, man. Take it easy. Vigits, baby. Wiedersehen, baby.
What exactly is he like?
That is his perfect setting, on a beach, stumbling around with his broken ankle, interviewing people. That is right in his element. He loves it out
He's
there.
going to be arrested for German bothering if he's not careful. Intoxicated on his own exuberance. Brilliant stuff. And we might have invented the game, as Righty said, but it's difficult to see this World Cup as anything but a kind of homecoming. Apart from the fact that no country's won it as many times as Brazil, no country embodies the spirit of the tournament more.
Joy unlimited for Brazil.
That was magic.
This is what we love to see from
That
them.
was pure genius.
They are pleasing the world again.
And we're away. Pelé.
And just look at that.
Brazil beginning to explode and exploit and entertain. And it is! Victory then is the design of Brazil. What a beautiful goal from Pelé! That's not a bad ball for Pelé on the right side. It's Carlos Alberto. And what a great goal that was! The moment that Brazil have waited for.
Whoa! What a goal! Oh, dreamer, Falcao.
Romario strikes again. And Bebeto. Brazil win the World Cup. Bang! Fantastic. It's Brazil's year again. You think Brazil are here? I think they probably are.
And that only underlines Brazil's superiority.
Tremendous moment. Nobody else comes close.
Brasil, 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 Brasil.
Welcome back to our home for the next month, Copacabana Beach, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. What a privilege it is for us to be here. The opening ceremony is about to start down in Sao Paulo. In the past, we've had a mixed bag, haven't we? Rather a staid affair at Wembley in '66, players lining up there in neat order. West Germany, some traditional dancing, actually popped out of giant balls to perform their dancing. Popping out of this giant ball The Scottish, that's the Glasgow Police Pipe Band. Spain in 1982. Sweet Little Dove came out of the Sweet Little Boys football. Didn't play the game, though, didn't fly into the pure blue sky. Stayed around to watch the game, and didn't blame him. And then most tournaments end with a disastrous penalty. This one started with one.
Calamity. Not sure that was supposed to happen.
Soldier Field, Chicago has never seen anything like it since. So let's see what the Brazilians have come up with for their opening ceremony as the World Cup lands in this extraordinary country's biggest city. Clive Tilsley is at the Arena de Sao Paulo, and a big World Cup hello to you, Clive.
Welcome to Sub.
And we believe that's it. Nothing wrong with that at all. Something for all the family. We'll be looking at the week England have had here in Rio. After the break, it's been a little bit more relaxed than some would like to see. And this banner here says it all, stands for all of us. Thank you for the warm welcome, Brazil. One key decision Roy Hodgson's got to make is whether to start with Sterling or Welbeck. Let's help him out with that. What do you think? Tell us via Twitter. Hashtag ITV Sterling if you want Raheem. Hashtag ITV Welbeck if you want Danny. They could both play, I suppose, but which would you pick if you could only have one?
Brasil, Brasil.
Welcome back. We're building up to the opening game of the World Cup. It'll be in Sao Paulo. It'll be Brazil versus Croatia. Kickoff where you are is at 9 o'clock. Some very experienced managers and players getting off the Brazil bus, but it's still one of the biggest games in their life. Neymar, a national hero, and loads of Champions League European stars there. David Luiz going past. Excellent stuff. Between now and kick-off, we'll be looking ahead to that and the tournament as a whole, and just generally reflecting on how absolutely marvellous life does feel on the day the World Cup starts. We posed a question just a few minutes ago. Who would you pick for England to start against Italy? And I think that's what you call a landslide, with apologies to any members of the Welbeck family watching. Only 14% would go for Danny ahead of Raheem Sterling. So they're obviously... well, they're adventurous fans, but then they don't pay the price, do they, Lee, if it all goes wrong? You can still tweet, by the way. Keep your votes coming in.
No, that's true. I think we talked about it last week in Miami, about that midfield area, and I certainly would go for Sterling. I think he just gives you something that England haven't had for a while, and that's pace that you can get behind a back four. I think we've got some players who can make the passes, etc., but you do need to scare the opposition, and I think playing Sterling would scare the Italians, certainly.
Who would scare you more as an Italian, Fabio? Would it be Sterling or would it be Welbeck?
You know, will be very tough game, but because when you have the play like Rooney, you need to be careful. You need to be very concentrated. You can't make a mistake because the player like Rooney can kill you in 1 second. And we are afraid, we know, and but be careful because also we have a good team.
Okay. Would you be afraid of that pace then, with Sterling playing?
Yeah, but it's a World Cup. It's the first game. It's the most important because when you start, you need to start the World Cup with, and you want to win.
Yeah.
Because after maybe you take more confidence, your performance will get better. But we respect a lot of the English team.
Yeah.
Which way would you go? Would you play it slightly safer with Danny Welbeck, or would you go for Sterling, do you think, Patrick?
I will look at the season, and Sterling with Liverpool has been brilliant, I think, through the season.
Yeah.
I think if Liverpool played really well, had a really good competition, and Sterling was at his best, and Welbeck struggling a little bit, he had few injuries, he didn't play really well with United, I will give him the start 11. I think he deserves it, and I think it will be good, because of course he's got pace, and then the 1v1 he can really hurt the Italian team, and I think he showed that tactically he's quite really clever as well, because from outside he was coming inside, And I was quite really surprised. So the way he's thinking, playing this game, I think he showed that he can cope on a tactical level in that competition.
Let's see what's been happening with the England camp. As Ian Wright put it, they're just a couple of beaches along from us here. Gabriel's at this report for you.
Inglaterra in Rio, football is coming home.
England have put themselves front and centre stage. Here there's no hiding place. In the shadow of Sugarloaf or against the backdrop of the favela, they've embraced Brazil's World Cup.
I like being part of it, being in the middle of it.
No, it's great. We're not bored, no excuses. The nation's a massive football nation and everyone's got a massive buzz for the World Cup to start on Thursday.
We've got a great place here, the training ground's perfect, everything's there, so it's down to us now.
England's official motto could be Brazil's.
The dreamer of one nation, the heartbeat of millions.
And Hodgson's men have security to rival the host nation. Be it air, land or sea, it's all covered. Mobilising Team England requires military precision, although on Monday the Rio commute didn't go too well. Ross Barkley was late for the bus. A rookie mistake, but Barkley has built up plenty of credit.
Yes, Ross Barkley, good energy.
Raheem Sterling has been the best of the best in training.
Well done.
It's Hodgson's choice.
We've seen Sterling, what he's done for Liverpool. Ross has just burst onto the scene and, there's no stopping him. So if they get the chance, they'll deliver.
Well done, boys.
If the last couple of World Cups have taught you anything that you can pass on to the younger players, what might that be?
Enjoy it. I think you have to enjoy these moments. It's the biggest tournament, in football. So enjoy it as much as you can, which maybe I haven't done in the two previous tournaments. But I'm certainly going to go out and enjoy this one.
Yes, you're working, Razza, good.
We know that Italy like to keep the ball. We're not too worried about if they have a lot of possession. At the end of the day, there's only one stat that counts, and if we get our small details right, we'll be all right.
The heat of Manaus increases the need for options, but opting for youth is a familiar dilemma.
Gaza, he played like a Brazilian.
Before Italia 90, the young Paul Gascoigne had won 11 caps, one more than Barkley and Sterling put together. And for all their emergence over the last few weeks, the plan for Italy and Andrea Pirlo has been in place for rather longer.
We've always had one eye on the Italy game, trying to get our tactics perfect. I'm not going to give too much away, but when the tactics come to it, we'll be all right.
A lot's been said about whether England play cautiously or attack against Italy. What's your instinct about the way the team should approach that game?
Well, I'm sure you'll find out on Saturday.
Wayne Rooney rounding off that report from Gabriel. Patrick, who's one of the more laid-back people on this planet, he actually got quite animated there. We heard Lallana say, we're not bored. Well, what annoys you about that? We wouldn't want the poor lad to be bored, would we?
We don't want him to be bored, but what we want is for them to win the World Cup. It doesn't matter if you get bored or not. I'm quite surprised by the location of the England national team, to be honest, because when you prepare for the World Cup in a big competition like that, you need to isolate yourself, you need to prepare yourself. I suppose this is a different culture, and we used to something else. But I will be prepared to go in a training camp in the middle of nowhere for 1 month, get bored, but I will get ready.
It's funny, the last World Cup, damned if you do, damned if you don't. All of a sudden, they've changed the venue a little bit more central, although they're not right in the middle here. And then the two lads who've won World Cups are both saying, wouldn't stay there if we were England, wouldn't stay where the Dutch are staying. We want to be out the way as players. You give up a month of your life, as you said before, to concentrate. So it's, Roy Hodgson's like that, what do we do? And he's chosen for that way, and time will tell whether it's right or wrong.
We had a manager called Fabio Capello for the last World Cup. I don't know whether you're familiar with his work, Fabio. I mean, he loved taking people up into the mountains away from things, but as a player, that worked for you, didn't it?
We played with Fabio Capello in Torino. We know Fabio Capello mentality, but to be honest with you, is the World Cup. 1 month can change your life, because you need to be concentrated. You need to prepare your body, your mind. You need to prepare your performance, and okay, is you can say in the middle of don't know where, but it's the World Cup. It's the most important tournament in the world. So I think to win the World Cup, you need the different place. You need the small place, very quiet, where you can be concentrated, when you can prepare your performance.
But you were 6th or 7th favourites, I think, when you won the World Cup.
Yes.
I mean, at the beginning, 10-1, I think the odds were. At the beginning of the tournament, did you think you could win in Germany?
No. No, of course no. But Marcello Lippi, yes. Because the first meeting we did before we starting with him, he said, guys, look at you. With you I can win the World Cup, but my dream will be maybe the final with Brazil. And before the final against the France, he said, I told you guys, was my dream. I just make one mistake. It's not Brazil, but France.
We settle for that.
Because he trusts us. He was with a lot of confidence because Italian team that time was very good team.
But did he make you believe, Lippi, when he said that to you? Did you walk out of that meeting and think, yeah, well, perhaps we win with the World Cup?
I say, no, maybe it's crazy. But if you look at the team, you can win with Totti, Del Piero, Inzaghi, Nesta, Buffon. We were very good. And we arrived in 2006 with the big experience because most of us did the Champions League final, European Cup final. Yeah. So it was a good time to win the World Cup.
Now, this is the team you would least like to see Roy pick, England team, you'd least like to see Roy pick against your lot, against Italy. So these are the ones that would make you worry, and you've gone for lots of pace, interestingly, Fabio, on the wings.
No, but the key will be in the middle of the midfield. Because we have the players like Pirlo, very genius player, and also Marquise or Verratti. We miss Montolivo. Montolivo for us is very important. But the key will be in the middle, because we have 3, maybe 4 players, and the England team maybe only 2.
That's only one player different than my team, by the way. I'd just like to point that out, Adrian, before you have a go at me.
Great minds think alike.
But I just put Henderson in that middle to play with Gerrard, thinking that because they played a great season together at Liverpool, that just might work a little bit better. I don't know what you think about that, Patrick.
Yeah, he had a fantastic season with Liverpool, and the partnership between them two been working quite really well in the club level, because that's allowed Anderson to do the box-to-box and Gerrard to be a little bit more the one who will stay and play in front of the back 4. But it will be really interesting, because knowing the Italian, they will know the pace of the players from England. And tactically, Italy, they will be really compact, they will not going to leave a space, and they will make it really difficult for the English. And the Italian, they know how to win, even if they don't play well.
As you keep telling him about it.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about, when winning the World Cup can change his life. So winning in 2006 will change his life.
Because if you win the World Cup, you become a legend. You're not normal player.
Yeah, I'll just leave now, yeah.
Lee's a legend, hasn't he told you? Even though we didn't win a World Cup. So 82% of you agreed on Twitter with Fabio that Sterling would be picked ahead of Welbeck. And Lee says Sterling as well. Let's not forget that. That's Lee the legend, Fabio. Don't forget that. Well, we toilet our coalface here. The rest of our team are on the beach. Can't say I blame them.
Cheers, Aid. OK, I'm sitting here with a former international manager and a current international manager, Glenn Hoddle and Gordon Strachan. Gaffer, do you mind me calling you Gaffer? Because everyone's going mad on Twitter saying, why are you calling him Gaffer? When you call him Gaffer, you don't mind it, do you, Gaffer?
It's up to you, Ian. It's up to you, son. I don't mind it.
Gaffer. So let's go back 1998. World Cup's about to start. Obviously, England weren't playing in the first game. How did you prepare for that? Where were the boys? Did everyone watch it together?
Yeah, you got everyone together. It was like a little bit like a young kid waiting for Christmas to arrive. It was so exciting. It really was. I remember it as a player, but as a manager as well. You know, when all you're planning and all you want to do is get the tournament started. And I think in '98 it was Scotland, Gordon. Actually, he was playing the first game against Brazil.
I was there. I was at the game.
Yeah,
and
it was a fabulous way to start.
Did all
a British team involved?
Did all the boys come down and watch it?
Yeah, we encouraged them all to come into one place to watch it, you know, and we had a little bit of a book going, so that brought everyone in, first goal scorer and all these things, so just to make a little bit of the team spirit right. But it was an exciting day, like it is today.
Yes, it is. And Strax, yourself, 1982, Remember you, because that was a time there weren't televisions everywhere, and did all the boys get together and watch that one?
We had to, because there was no tellies in your bedroom.
Yeah.
That was way back when. There was no laptops. You could isolate yourself. You had to get there, and Jockstein says, you got to be there to watch the game. So I turned up late with Alec McLeish. The room was black, pitch black. The game had started, watched it, and after about 10 minutes, I thought, I can smell cigar smoke in here.
Cigar smoke?
Yeah, and I went, oh, just a second. There's lots of athletes in here. We're preparing for a big game. Whoever's got the cigar, get it out. Being a bit lippy.
Yeah.
And all I heard was this voice. You can do it, can't you?
Money penny.
Yeah. I heard this voice and I thought, that's James Bond. I'm a dead man. And Sean Connery was in the room, waiting a cigar, watching the game, but I didn't know that. So I was telling James Bond, get the cigar out or there's trouble.
So what happened? Was he somebody that stayed along the place? He just walked into the camp anytime he wanted? Was he there again?
I think he got invited with Jockstein. Okay. That's for sure.
Hey, when you're James Bond, you
can
do
just
whatever
walk
you
in.
want.
Anyway, to be fair, nobody's got to stop him. Security's not got to stop him, isn't they? You'll be climbing through one day.
You're bang on to be fair. You're bang on to be fair. So let's go. England's preparations up to this point. Gavin, they did have a little bit of a scare in the last game against Honduras with the preparations. How do you think the preparations have gone?
Listen, it was the right place to go. Miami was the place to go for the
Even
first
with
game.
the weather kind of was in and out.
Yeah, but you can't pick. You can't choose your nature, can you? It actually happened. It was a bit cooler than we thought it would be. They wanted it even hotter than it was because Manaus is going to be really hot and stifling. Yeah. And then the second game, to be fair to Roy, they just had to get that one out of the way to stop the game. Like Stevie Gerrard explained, he wanted to play 45 minutes in a one foul swoop in a block.
Yeah.
He's got stopped after 27 minutes, then he's gone back out again and finished, and then he's off at half time. So that's just an example how the preparation wasn't as perfect as you'd like, but that's what it is.
You don't think that would help? Just in case that does happen in Manaus. The game stops for a bit, and how to deal with it. And then how do you deal with it? How do you get warmed up again? How do you go again? The older players, what do you give to them? The younger players are easier.
I think you're right, Gordon, but the chances of it happening again they'd be very unlucky, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
If that happened
It'd
again.
be very unlucky for you lot again, wouldn't it?
I was actually thinking that they were quite. For me, as a player, I'd be quite pleased that's out of the way. Whether they played that game or it got abandoned or not, because I just want it to be here. Do you think that the players themselves, once they get here, they'll be worried about, I wonder if that went okay? It was a little bit sticky in the middle. They had that 40 minutes of a kind of like a delay. Do you think they'll be all right?
I think the players will now go, that's by. Yeah. That was all propaganda, that. We're preparing. We played 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we played 60 minutes. It doesn't matter. All the players want to do now is play the real game because we are competitive animals. And friendlies, it doesn't really turn us on.
And what about tonight now? It's happening. Brazil, Croatia, opening game, World Cup. I know there's been a lot of unrest, like that social kind of unrest, what's going on here. How do you think it's gone in respects of you seeing how it's been since you've been here for a couple of days?
Ian, it's been a little bit low-key. I thought it was going to be a lot more from the airport right the way through the streets. I haven't really seen that World Cup fever in Brazil, and let's face it, this is the spiritual home of football. It might have started way back, with us, but this is the spiritual home of football without any doubt. You watch the beach, you go along the beaches, and you watch the skills that the guys have got, whether they're 70 years of age or 7 or 8. It is magnificent to see, but it hasn't really caught on, and I don't know whether it's these protests. Brazil have got to win tonight for the whole country to calm down.
What do you think, Strax, in respects of Brazil winning, and I think it'll catch fire tonight. Once they do something, hopefully they'll do something. You want the host.
Brazil winning. Brazil's only problem, I think, is themselves. I think their temperament can be suspect. I've looked at the squad and the number of bookings they've had in the league this year. Brazilian players throughout the leagues they play in, it's phenomenal. And red cards. I think if they go 1-0 behind in any game, that'll be a real test for their temperament because 1 or 2 could get sent off because the pressure's so great on them.
Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. We'll go back to Aid. Thanks a lot.
As the gentlemen were saying there down on the beach, the mood here is kind of moot. Do they want the tournament here or not? We don't know which way it's going to go. A win tonight would certainly help. It's not been a very happy build-up to the tournament, though. These scenes were from a year ago, but we've had some today in Sao Paulo. Caroline de Moraes, who's half Brazilian, has been listening to some dissenting voices for us.
We have so many problems at the moment, really serious problem, I sort of hope Brazil doesn't win. That's how bad I feel, about it.
Brasil, 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 Brasil.
welcome back to Rio. Lovely here, Sugarloaf Mountain just behind me. But let's head to Manchester briefly. This is the scene at the ITV Fever Pitch event on Key Street, where they're going to be having a World Cup party all the way through the tournament. There's some Manchester Brazilians there, and here's a Croat with his tongue out. I can do that too. Delighted as we are to be here. Must be great to be in the stadium for this opening game. Matt Smith is the lucky man, and he's extra lucky because he has with him the man who made the finish for what is widely regarded as one of the greatest World Cup goals ever. Go on, Pele, lay it off to the right. That's the fella, and Carlos Alberto it was who thundered it in, and he's with Matt in Sao Paulo.
Thank you very much, Adrian, and a warm welcome to Sao Paulo, where the temperature has been rising all day in every sense. Great expectation here, and no one looking forward to it more, I'm sure, than a World Cup winner from 1970, the captain of that team, Carlos Alberto. Welcome.
Thank you.
Perhaps you should say welcome to me.
Yeah, sure. Welcome to Brazil.
Now, has ever there been more expectation, more pressure on a country for a tournament than Brazil here?
Yeah, the people now, I think they start to understand how important it is for Brazil to promote a World Cup. See, the people happy, and many people from Europe, Latin America will be here, and this is the good result for us.
It's a big day, it's an important tournament, obviously, for the nation. There's a sense of you're at a crossroads now. A good start, everybody believes. A bad start, more problems.
Yeah, we hope we win the game to bring more people, the Brazilian people, to these streets, but to be with the national team.
Yeah.
This is the Brazilian spirit, happiness, not what you saw last year. Violence, no, this is not the Brazilian way. And we hope if our team wins the opponent today, the Brazilian people will be much more happy.
To the streets in a good way. How difficult a game against Croatia? How hard an opponent?
I think it will be a good game. It's not an easy game for Brazil, but I believe that you have a good team, good players to win the game.
A lot of pressure on Neymar.
Yeah. I'm not agree because he's young. People expect a lot from him, and he knows that. But I think this boy is very smart and a good player. I'm sure that he's going to help Brazil to win the World Cup.
An interesting comment from your old teammate Pelé, who says for the first time ever, Brazil is stronger in defense than attack. You agree? I
agree with Pelé. Pelé knows everything. He can say anything. And this time you have the two defenders, central defenders, Thiago Silva, David Luiz. They are very good players, and also left fullback, right fullback. I agree with Pelé.
But the defense in 1970 was quite good.
No. If you make the compare, this time is much better than ours.
I hope it goes as well as you expect. It's a delight for us to have you here today. Thank you very much, Carlos.
Thank you. Welcome again to be in Brazil, and I wish the best for the English team.
Thank you, we appreciate that. Carlos Alberto, more from us in just a wee while. Back to you.
Oh, pat on the back from Carlos Alberto. I've been waiting for a pat on the back from you for 2 years, Patrick. Still hasn't come. No? All right, then perhaps by the end of the tournament. When FIFA awarded Brazil the World Cup, they must have thought getting Brazilians up for the Cup would be the last of their problems. As you know, there have been issues. Caroline de Moraes was born in England to Brazilian parents, so was just the job when it came to gauging the mood for us as the tournament gets underway.
Cup in Brazil seems like the perfect fit, doesn't it? Well, I'm half Brazilian, so I know what hosting this tournament means to this nation. But just yards away from our studios, the protests against the World Cup continue, and it's quite clear that many Brazilians don't want it here at all.
We love football, but we are protesting because the money supposed to be drawing to health and education is going to the bigger world events.
During last year's Confederations Cup, huge protests rocked several Brazilian cities, including Rio. What began as small demonstrations about the price of public transport spiralled into riots over corruption and the massive costs of hosting a World Cup.
We had an eruption of protests that came spontaneously, and for maybe a month, the whole country was in it. You know, millions of people on the streets. As time went on, they became very political and very violent.
Protests have continued throughout the last 12 months about stadium delays, deaths of construction workers and police brutality. In a recent poll, 61% of the Brazilian public feel hosting the World Cup was a bad idea.
We have so many problems at the moment, you know, really serious problem, you know. I sort of hope Brazil doesn't win. That's how bad I feel, you know, about it.
There's a lot of politics behind the protests, the manifestations, so it's not just a pure opposition thing.
We work in very bad conditions. Our salary is very small. We want the world to listen to us, see us, because the governments pretend we are invisible.
People think that maybe we shouldn't spend money on the World Cup since we have other needs. But it's not as much compared to the whole nation's budget. I think the problem we have is not lack of hospitals, is that they're not well run, well managed.
Nós tivemos alguns problemas, né, de reivindicações, problemas políticos antes da Copa das Confederações, mas aí foi acalmando, o Brasil foi campeão da Copa das Confederações e isso acalmou o povo brasileiro e nos deu confiança. Então tenho certeza que a Copa do Mundo vai ser muito boa também para o Brasil.
We have to be able, you know, to have protests without people getting hurt and the games go on. It's a good test.
There's no doubt that the world's eyes will be firmly fixed on Brazil over the next few weeks in more ways than one. But what remains a constant is their fanatical support for their national football team, the Seleção Brasileira. And a World Cup win for Brazil here at home will be something to celebrate.
Yes, you'd think a win would do the trick, but these were the scenes before the opening game in Sao Paulo. We got these pictures from ITN. Most unsavoury scenes in Sao Paulo, anti-World Cup protests. These were really unbelievable stuff from the people of the home nation as the World Cup gets underway. But there was some dissenting voice in South Africa, but thinking back to the French World Cup, everyone was behind it, weren't they?
Yeah, because we knew that football is quite a really strong tool to bring people together. So that's why I think football and having the World Cup in 1980 in France really helped to bring people together, create more jobs, and because, of course, going on winning it was really successful for the French people.
I was out and about the other day at a friend of mine who lives close to here in a sort of leafy suburb, and she was saying to me that there was no bunting around, no flags, and I said, is the World Cup happening here? And she said, I've got it ready to go up, but I don't want to be the first to put it up because no one seems to be getting into the... I think there's a bit of fear of being that person who waves the flag because of the social issues, and it's massive pressure on the players, not only from a football point of view, they've got the pressure playing in the home nation, but now they've also got that social pressure as well. I think it's a difficult and slightly different situation than was in France.
And that's why I think the game tonight will be really important. Yeah. That's why it's going to be important for Brazil to win, and I think that will bring the people together, and maybe the mood's going to change. And they're going to start to be behind the team, and we're going to smell maybe a little bit more that there's a World Cup going on.
Well, it's a bit overcast outside on Copacabana Beach, but normally I promise you this would be teeming with people doing 700 keepy-uppies in one go and all that kind of thing, but they've gone to watch the football. There's nobody, there's not really anybody out there now on the beach. Do you think the atmosphere will take off tonight? We'll see if Brazil win. If there's free food and drink for us all, then we'll know that they've got into the spirit.
I respect, I can understand everything, but I hope they need to protest the people, but I hope the Pacific protest. This is the most important, because
A peaceful process.
Yeah, exactly.
Protest.
We are in Brazil. Everybody have a good image about Brazil for for the football, for the good life, and I hope after the game starting everything will be okay.
1990, the World Cup was in your country. What do you remember of that? You were 16 at the time.
Yeah, I have a good memory about this World Cup. Not for the result, because we lost against Argentina in Napoli, but because I was in Napoli to watch the game England against Cameroon, and I was behind the goal when Lineker.
So you're a ball boy there.
Yeah, yes, I was a ball boy, and I was very happy because I was lucky to be there to watching my hero in the person. I was so excited. And
if you'd been a ball boy at the semi-final, we might have won that. So it's probably your fault for not turning up then. But less than 3/4 of an hour until the start of the race for football's World Championship. We better take a look at the runners and riders with Sue Thurl.
Brazil may have all the history and talent, but the key for the hosts will be how they cope with the massive weight of expectation on their shoulders. Lionel Messi leads a host of stars for Argentina. Will this be the tournament he comes of age for his country? Spain are aiming for a 4th consecutive major tournament success, but will time catch up with their ageing squad? Germany have all the experience, but do they lack the firepower to become the first European team to win the World Cup in South America? Portugal's hopes of progressing rest with this man.
Cristiano Ronaldo, unstoppable!
Though a niggling knee and thigh injury might do just that. In the absence of Franck Ribéry, Karim Benzema spearheads the French attack. And can Paul Pogba of Juventus make his mark on the biggest stage? 2010 finalists Holland will once again seek their inspiration from Arjen Robben and Robin van Persie.
Robin van Persie on hand again!
4-time world champions Italy haven't won an international fixture since they qualified, but the Azzurri will hope that Mario Balotelli can reproduce his form of Euro 2012.
Goal! Mario Balotelli!
The South American challenge isn't just about Brazil and Argentina. Colombia are ranked 8th in the world, but what impact will Radamel Falcao's absence have on them? Chile and Alexis Sanchez stunned England at Wembley last year.
Alexis Sanchez, pièce de résistance.
Spain and Holland will certainly be wary of their threat. Uruguayan football fans have been on tenterhooks since Luis Suarez picked up his knee injury, and his fitness could be the determining factor for them in Brazil. Didier Drogba provides the leadership for Ivory Coast, but any chance of success could depend on Manchester City's Yaya Toure.
Absolutely fantastic from Yaya Toure.
Nigeria are the current Africa Cup of Nations champions. Might they be the African team to watch?
Nigeria's young princes have come of age.
Belgium are many fans' dark horses.
Sumptuous goal from Eden Hazard.
And with a host of Premier League stars, no opponent can afford to take them lightly. And finally, of course, there's always England. Brace yourselves.
Let's go back to Sao Paulo now, where Matt Smith's been joined by another member of our team, Gus Poyet.
Thank you. Welcome back to Sao Paulo. Alongside me, a man you all know very well, proud South American, Uruguayan, and we'll have another chat here when England play Uruguay. But today, big day for Brazil. Lots of expectation.
Yeah, always is expectation with Brazil, especially at home, opening game, playing Croatia, which is a very good team, so it's going to be a very interesting game.
How does the rest of South America see Brazil as the host nation? The favourite?
I think normally when we play in South America, we feel a little bit more comfortable. I think Argentina, with the best Messi, could be one of the candidates. I love to see Chile playing football. Colombia, unfortunately, they lost Falcao. And as you know, I will always go for Uruguay because it's Uruguay. But I think it's important for us to start well. We are teams that we start well after we can go into good things.
Lots of discussion that a European team has never won in South America. Is that about to change, maybe?
I think it's just a maybe. I think it's going to be difficult. but it's going to happen sooner or later. So I think they are very good teams in Europe, and you know, they need to adapt to this craziness. But if they do, you know, there are teams that they got plenty of players to win it.
What, maybe Belgium, Germany, Spain, they would be the candidates?
Yeah, Germany is always there. Spain, they got the experience and the players. I'm excited about Belgium. It's a team that I want to see. I want to analyze from the manager point of view. If the players, individuals, they can fix and become a very good team, and then they can do very well.
And what about today's game here? How hard a test for Brazil against Croatia?
I think it's the midfielders of Croatia, they get the ball, and they play with Brazil. They try to not to give it back. I think it's going to be incredible. I don't know if a famous Jennifer Lopez, but it's going to be similar to that, which is something that we are expecting to see. You know, a team coming in here, taking the ball from Brazil and making them suffer.
And obviously in England's group, England and Uruguay to qualify is natural.
For me, yes, no doubt. We leave the Italians out and Costa Rica. I think it's possible. I think it all depends on the first game. England, you know, the England team against Italy, they need to get something from the game to come to Uruguay, against Uruguay, sorry, and to play the game in a different way. Losing the first game, it will be very difficult, so very, very important, the first one.
And if it's not Uruguay that holds the trophy in a month's time, who will it be?
Well, me, I always support the team where I'm living. No excuse, when I was in Spain, I always say Uruguay or Spain. Here is no different, so if Uruguay doesn't win it, I would like England to win it.
And your best guess, if it's not those two, who is the most likely?
For me, Brazil. After the Copa Confederations, after feeling that pressure of playing at home against very good teams and winning the Cup, I think now they're going to be a little bit more relaxed and they've got a great chance.
Thanks for the moment too, Gus. We are, I'm sure like you, very excited. In fact, we're like two kids in an expensively refurbished sweet shop. Back to you.
Plenty more from Gus Poyet and Matt Smith throughout the tournament. Brace yourself, Patrick. You've got to prepare yourself for this during the break. We'll be back with a look at some of the astonishing results the opening matches have thrown up in the past, and a thoroughly miserable experience it's been for some of the greatest stars in the game.